Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hello from Melbourne. Haven't we been in the doldrums over the last year or so? What a crazy year 2020 was. And, for a minute there, we kind of thought 2021 is going to head the same way. And we still don't really know how things are going to turn out. We are still dealing with a pandemic and so on. What I want to about, obviously there's pandemic fears, GFCs worry. It's important not to bury our head in the sand about these issues that are going on in the world, but it's also important to find the rainbows amongst the. And so yesterday I went on the hunt for something positive because, quite frankly, I was noticing that I was starting to slip into that rabbit hole of doom and gloom. I just noticed that things were sitting a bit heavy on my heart. And, speaking with some of my clients, many of them are going through the same thing, just a heaviness on the heart, feeling a little bit demotivated, wondering how to make plans when you don't really know how it's going to turn out. And so I think if we were to rely on all that social media and the news is telling us, it would be very difficult to find what's right in the world. And so I went on a hunt yesterday to try and find something that was going to uplift my spirits. And I came across this TEDx talk by a National Geographic photographer called Dewitt Jones. And what I learned from Dewitt Jones's TEDx talk was to celebrate what's right with the world. I'm going to provide the details of that TEDx talk in the comments or somewhere where you can access it. But I just want to share some of what I learned. And it really gave me perspective and uplifted my mood significantly in the 18 minutes it took me to listen to it. I think it's about 18 minutes long. So he was saying that one of the mottos at National Geographic, the edicts that they gave him before he went out to photograph images for them, was to find what's right in the world, to go out, find and photograph what's right in the world. And he said that particular motto of National Geographic really changed his life because his mission was to go find and photograph and celebrate what was right in the world. And so he said, as he went through his years of photography, putting the camera roll into his camera, armed with the mission of finding and celebrating what's right in the world, he found that his photography led him to nature. And he said nature always showed him that he could fill up his camera rolls with beauty, light, and possibility. So looking through the world or looking through the lens, with that focus of celebrating what's right with the world, he realized that there were so many ways to come up with the right answer, that you never had to settle on only one right answer in life. That when you're looking to celebrate, when you're looking for the good, you'll find that there are many ways or many answers to challenges, to problems. And that's one of the things he learned that photography taught him. The other thing he also spoke about was missing out on opportunities when he didn't engage. So he shared an example of finding a field of dandelions, and he wasn't in the right frame of mind. And so he was photographing these dandelions, and he just didn't like what he was photographing. And so he went away and he had that bleh feeling, and then came back. He said, I'll come back the next day, and came back the next day. And what he found was, a bunch of puffballs. The dandelions were gone and there was a bunch of puffballs. And he was quite disappointed at that. But then he said to himself, I've landed in this field of puffballs now, no dandelions, puffballs. What can I do? And he shifted the lens. And in the video, there is a picture. He shares a picture of capturing this puffball with the light coming through it. It is one of the most stunning pictures I've seen. And he was saying that just shifting the lens resulted in this amazing piece of photography. And so he learned that when you shift the lens, shift the perspective, in other words, You'll be amazed at what can be produced in your life, what can turn from challenge into opportunity, what can turn from a difficult situation into a situation that is about growth and learning, that takes you on roads that leads to ongoing and consistent success. So he says that celebrating what's right puts the challenge into a larger, more balanced perspective. And it gives you the energy to keep looking for right answers. Now, isn't that brilliant? I mean, we spend so much of our time focusing on the stuff that's wrong instead of looking for the next right answer. One of the things he also shared was that the difference between a good friend and a great friend is simply a slight shift in the lens. And he gave some brilliant examples of photography. He photographed the same objects, but just shifting the lens turned the picture from a good picture to a great picture. And he called that his good friend to his great friend. And I think we can do the same, can't we? In so many areas of life, by simply shifting our perspective, you can end up creating a more than good experience. You can actually create a marvelous experience or a great experience. So I think, as I said, with what's going on in the world today, and because we are bombarded with negativity and bad news and all of those things on social media and also in the news, it's very easily to stare down that lens of what's wrong with the world. But when we shift the lens and start staring down the lens of what's right with the world, Dewitt promises that you will start to see these dark experiences in a different way. And I think it goes back really to that, that old saying that what you focus on grows. I mean, it's the same with the camera. When you're pointing the camera in one direction with only the one lens, you're only going to see the one image. When you point the camera at the same image, shift the lens slightly, you can sometimes go from good to brilliance, from good to great. And so for me, I was really, really happy to find that TEDx talk because it really elevated my spirits. And, and I am speaking with others about, let's just focus on some of the good. I mean, even this morning when I was walking the track with my daughter, we both came to the conclusion that for the past year, we have been kind of falling in and out those spaces of negativity and darkness, because that's what we're bombarded with on the news and on social media and everywhere we look. But it's time to move the focus to celebrating, because you know what? There's a lot to celebrate. I look at my own life. I have a lovely roof over my head. I live right next to a track, a walking nature track. And so I have nature with all its beauty, light, and possibility that Dewitt Jones talks about. I have it right next to my home. It doesn't even take me a few seconds to get on that track and to be right there with nature. So I'm starting to see that I need to shift my lens. I need to shift my lens and start celebrating what's right in the world, because I am really up. I don't know about you, but I'm really up for experiencing more of what's right in the world. I know there's lots wrong, and I know there's darkness, and I know there's challenge. None of us can ignore that. But I think I'm going to start choosing to bring that darkness, that challenge into perspective by adding a lens of celebrate what's right with the world. And I hope that this helps, and that you also look for the moments to celebrate what's right with the world. And I'm going to leave the link to that video, because I really think it's well worth watching. 18 minutes, I think it is, and well worth watching. And I hope that it lifts your spirits the same way it did. Have a great day. Shift the lens and go find the great in the world, and let's celebrate what's right in the world. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.